Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below to get more wig tutorials. Today we're going to go ahead and construct a wig from scratch. Today I will be using a spandex dome cap, but I'm going to go ahead and take my metallic paint marker and go ahead and draw my lines for where I want my wefts to lay. It doesn't really matter how many lines you make as long as each weft is covering your entire wig. For this wig, I went ahead and used a 5x5 body wave 12-inch closure with a natural color. And yes, my knots were bleached, so I did not have to bleach them. So you want to go ahead and lay your closure at least 1 inch past where your dome cap starts. As you can see, I'm pulling it down, and I'm going to pin that using my T-pins, but you want to make sure you leave at least 1 inch from where it starts just so the wig can fit better. So as you can see, I went ahead and did that. So now you want to take your metallic paint marker and trace where that closure lays. I did make a mistake and trace the closure a little too close on one side, but I will fix that once I start sewing. As long as you sew correctly, those lines really don't matter. They're just a line of demarcation of where you want each one to lay so that your wig can be even on both ends. As you can see, yes, the closure is way too close on the right side, so yeah. For this wig, I did use a sewing machine. I currently have a Singer. So for this wig, I did take the wefts off a previous wig that I made. So as you can see, my wefts are already sewn together, but basically what you would do is unravel your bundles, fold them in half as if you were going to double your wefts when you do sew a wig, and just sew them together. That's basically all you do. And you want to cut the ends once you attach that to your dome cap, and I will show you guys how I do that. But I'm gonna go over these tracks because the tracks are a little loose from me wearing the wigs and combing them, so I'm just gonna go over them. You want to make sure your sewing machine is set to a zigzag stitch. Mine was zigzag. My width was at 5 and my tension was at 2. Once you begin sewing your bundle, you want to make sure that you lock your stitch once you begin sewing a track. So to lock a stitch, just start your bundle a little 2 inches before the bundle starts and sew, then hit your reverse stitch and go backwards so that can lock that stitch. Once you get to the end of the bundle, do the same. So once you're done sewing all your bundles together, you want to take your dome cap and begin sewing using your longest bundle over the first line that you drew, and make sure you curve that sewing stitch so that your dome cap won't stretch. So this is what your final result should look like once you finish with that first stitch, super flat. So now I'm completely done sewing on my tracks. I'm going to go ahead and place my closure where I drew my lines. Yes, they are off, but you can correct it as long as you sew your closure on correctly. So now I'm going to begin to sew on my closure. I took a straight stitch needle and some black cotton thread and just sewed each side individually onto the dome cap. Yes, once I was done, I went ahead and took an additional track that I sewed and placed it in between where the closure and the beginning of my first weft started. So here's the final result, you guys. I went ahead and flat ironed this wig, laid the closure, and plucked some baby hairs. I hope you guys like this result. Once again, thank you all for watching. See you all in the next video.